Okay, going on to the next portion of the exhibition, we come to a lapinha, which is a Portuguese nativity scene. And what was so wonderful about this particular installation, I really call it an installation, is the family loved to construct this kind of nativity scene in their home at Christmas time. And so they were telling us about this, and when it came time to putting the exhibition together, we constructed the framework for the different steps to the structure, and the family, then all the aunties and children came in with the little image of the baby Jesus, and the holy pictures, and the Christmas lights and Christmas flowers, and different plants, and they constructed this right in the corner of the gallery. It was so wonderful to see them working together. Again, the whole process of them putting it together became a sort of coming together of that particular family. So there's these kinds of just really very treasured moments that occurred in the whole process of putting this exhibition together. The orchid that was loaned by Roy Fukumura. Roy had a tailor shop in Kahului before the war broke out in 1941. But after December 7th, he was not allowed to leave his property. So he couldn't even return to his tailor shop to continue his business. And then, as a consequence, the neighbors brought him various orchids, and he started propagating orchids. And he has become extremely famous around the world because he has propagated some of the most unusual orchids. And this is all a consequence of the fact that he was restricted to his property during the war. So sometimes, out of adversity, people found great strength and great power and became very well known. It was at this point in the exhibition, the visitor would be looking at this particular area of the exhibit and just wandering from wonderful object to wonderful object, and sort of reading the stories about each thing. It was when they turned the corner and went around the corner here that they finally came to this sort of incredible object that was going to be the showstopper. And that was this Hupmobile, which is the second oldest car on Maui, still in excellent condition. I knew that we needed to not put this so that it was visible at the beginning, that when you walked in the exhibition you would see it immediately, because it would be such a showstopper that people would just immediately gravitate towards it. So I wanted it in a place where you got involved in all of the stories of the other objects first, because they were really also just as important. And so I kind of wanted the Hupmobile hidden, and you would only finally discover it when you came around the corner of the wall there, and there it was, up on its platform, just like everything else in the exhibition, sort of like a piece of art on a pedestal. And it was very funny because, I was going back, as I said, I was going back and forth to Maui, teaching classes here and running back there as soon as I finished class. And I remember coming over here to teach class, and before I left, they were all saying, there's no way we're going to be able to get the Hupmobile up on the platform. We're not going to build a platform. And I go, you have to. We can't just put it on the floor. And they were just like giving me all this resistance. And I said, no, it's got to look like it's like everything else in the exhibition, or it's not going to be the same. And so finally, I just, I had to come and teach my class. And when I got back over to Maui after my classes had ended, the Hupmobile was up on a platform. They had figured out a way of doing it. They built an extra reinforced the platform so that it would hold the Hupmobile, and they figured out a way of bringing it up on a ramp and placing it there on the platform. So it was really, really very effective. Now for me, this is also one of the things that's important, is that you do kind of, when you're putting an exhibition together, it's important to kind of look at the objects and say, is there something or some objects that are going to draw the people's attention? And my feeling is you never want to put those right at the beginning. Because if you do, everything else is going to sort of look secondary, or people are going to become so attracted to that they're not going to bother to look at anything else. And so that is why this was sort of maybe two-thirds of the way, placed about two-thirds of the way through the exhibition. It allowed people to get involved in the other objects first, and then they would finally see the Hupmobile.